So thank you, everyone. This is a very, my first experience with, at least with zoning board. I've had plenty of experience now on Zoom, but not for zoning board. So first time we've ever had to do this. So thank you very much. The first thing we're going to do, Ken is taking the minutes for us tonight. So thank you, Ken. I appreciate it. And we're going to start by, I'm going to make a motion to approve the minutes of February 25th. That was our last meeting. The minutes were distributed and they look good to me. So I'm going to make a motion to approve them. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? We're going to start with Judd, you're yes.
Favor.
Rosie, yes.
Yes.
All right, Ken.
Yes.
And I'm yes as well. So the minutes are approved, and I will send them to Sarah Palermo tomorrow so she can post them. I'm sure she'll be happy to get us up to date. And then we're going to take the matters out of order because the last member we hope who will meet us tonight is
He's here. Yeah.
I am here.
Excellent. All right. Well, then we can go in order. We don't even need to do that. Hi, John. How are you?
All right, thanks. I don't know what the problem was.
Well,
It didn't, I get some mail, on AOL. I don't usually use that. Your response to me that you said you had resent it came to my Apple email, but nothing else did. Anyhow, I'm here.
excellent. Excellent. And we just made a motion. We just approved the minutes from February. I don't know if you had any.
No, I did not. That's fine.
Okay, terrific. All right, so let's start with Fletcher, 255 South Buckout Street. Who's appearing on that?
Okay. Yes. Can you hear me?
I can. And before we start, a couple of just housekeeping things. First of all, you had to notice the neighbors.
Yes.
And if you could at some point get the proof of that notice to Village Hall, we're not going to make that a condition of going forward tonight, but if you could do that at your convenience, that would, I don't even know who's there, maybe just send them along, but just so we have it all on notice. And the second thing is I do want to let you know that if you're not comfortable going forward with Zoom, we are happy to adjourn this. We just want to make sure you're comfortable with it.
Yeah, this is totally fine. The applicant is very eager to get things moving, so this is fine.
Terrific. And could you just give us your name and, and spell it just for the minute?
Sure. It's Adamo, Adamo, and last name is Maiorano, Maiorano.
Okay, terrific.
Okay.
And you're appearing on behalf of the applicant?
Yes. I'm Adamo Maiorano from Community Designs and Engineering. You want me to just explain the whole project and what? Yeah. So thank you. So yeah, on behalf of the applicant, Jefta Fletcher, we are proposing additions and alterations to 255 South Buckout Street. The applicant recently purchased the home, and due to the increased size of the family occupying the residence, the additional square footage of what we are proposing is very substantial for the applicant and the family. So what we are ultimately doing is creating a one-story addition over the existing one-story garage that's located on the right side of the residence. What we'll be occupying in this space mainly is additional bedrooms. Again, that is what's ultimately needed for the applicant and its family. As well as alterations to the front elevation. We are proposing to lower the front portico. This doesn't require any of the variances, but this is to help create consistency in the massing of the home, as well as trying to keep the characteristic of the aesthetics of the home very neutral and very similar to other homes in the neighboring area. Lastly, what we are proposing is a right side portico. This new platform and portico will enter into a first floor mudroom. This mudroom will be adjacent to the existing garage that's there as a two-car garage. Basically what we are requesting in the area variances is one for the overall gross floor area. The existing home is 4,014 square feet. we are proposing an additional 782 square feet, again, which is the one-story addition over the garage. And what is required is 4,050 square feet. Secondly is the requested area variance for building coverage. This is mainly for the side portico and the very short walk to the existing driveway. Existing, there's 3,645 square feet of building coverage. We are only proposing an additional 82 square feet of additional coverage. And I believe, yeah, that is pretty much it in a nutshell.
Now, where are you on coverage now? Which is to say, are you?
So the existing is, we're over cover. We're actually over the coverage. I'm sorry. So the permitted is 3,221 square feet. Existing again is 3,645. But again, we are increasing a very small fraction, is basically 82 square feet of additional coverage.
82 square. So do you have percentage numbers of how far you're over now and how far you are proposing to go?
Yes, I can. In just a second. Sorry. Where am I going with this? Sorry,
On SP1.
caught off guard with
Yeah,
actually,
no.
yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, so yes,
Yes.
building coverage existing is 17.9%, and we're going to be 18.3%.
18.3.
So it's about 0.4%
Oh, 0.4%.
addition.
And what about the FAR?
The floor area, so
Mhm.
as far as in total, compared to the lot, 19.7% is existing. 23.5% proposed.
Got it.
In relationship to the lot.
Any questions from board members?
I was wondering how big a family does the applicant have?
I believe he has 6 children, ranging from I think he's in on the meet, but I guess he can't tune in. But yeah, he has 6 children, ranging from young to close to early teenagers. Yeah, so his husband and wife and 6 children.
And he's looking to increase the number of bedrooms from 4 to 6.
It's essentially, yes, the bedroom count, and then create a little better flow for the family on the first floor, basically creating that mud room so the kids can access into that mud room where it's right now it's like an existing first floor, I guess you call it bottom of the bedroom they were using as an office.
I mean, my biggest concern, I went by there this weekend, and it's kind of situated in an unusual way because there are some similar sized houses if you go further down Buckout and as you go up Clinton, but it's directly across the street and it directly abuts the Half Moon Condo Association, so it's already much bigger than everything within view, and it's just going to get even
Bigger, yes.
Do it
So
direct-
bigger in a way, we're trying to create that massing of, if you look at the front addition, bring the scaling down a little bit on the addition, create some, better aesthetics of the home. So we're trying to minimize the effects of that, addition on that existing garage. But again, yes, yeah, if you do go down, I think it's 10 Half Moon Lane is a very, dominant sized house that it'll be obviously smaller than that, and there are other predominant. So it's sort of that in between the Half Moon co-ops and the residence as you go down south.
I also was out there. I actually went out there today, and I had the same reaction. It's really part of it's not part of that Half Moon community as you drive down the street, as you walk around the neighborhood. It's really part of with the exception of the house to the right as you look at the house from the street, there are apartment buildings there. I understand it's a large family and they want more bedrooms, but they bought the house knowing that they had a large family and knowing, or at least I guess lawyers would say, I'm not licensed to practice in this jurisdiction, but lawyers would say had constructive knowledge of the zoning requirements. So I have difficulty saying, okay, you can buy a house, you want to make it larger in spite of the variance. I have some issues with that. I'm just not comfortable saying, okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't think they had, that's why they're here before, asking for it. So it was their first step in trying to propose something that is not totally out of the character of the area and still, get what can ultimately help in their way. So this is their first step in trying to get a, final result that will, benefit.
I understand. I'm not disputing your efforts there.
Sure.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's sort of the principle of the thing.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, the other thing is that I think kind of the screening in the front right now does somewhat block the one story on that you're going to be building up higher, but you're going to now be able to see a second floor. It's going to be much more visible from left to right than it is now because it's going to be above the current screening.
Sure, and yeah, part of the whole thing is obviously to keep that screening, part of the planning board as well as to keep that screening, and if any of that screening, mature trees would be stayed, so it'll block that sort of, overall length of the house, the screening in the front with mature planting. But yes, you're right. It'll, rise up above instead of seeing the roof. It's see the addition there.
Judd Harsher. On one of the supplements, there were some photos of the existing rear view and proposed rear view. And I think that's just to see, because it's in the visual area of the river, the Hudson River. But
yes,
on the front of the house, the only the picture that I saw that was the front of the house was just in the renderings, and the front of the house has this. I mean, I think it's kind of some spectacular stonework on the front facade of the house, and the addition on the second floor the proposal here doesn't stay consistent with the front of the house the way it looks now. I just didn't know if there was any consideration for how it would look with stone versus what the proposal is now, which is I think just the shingles.
I think the idea is not to create so much of a
wall.
Exactly. So much stone in the front, it's just going to overpower the whole front. So we're creating the shingles that will kind of mingle with the stone, but kind of also in the gable above, there's going to be the same shingle, so it'll complement each other, but not have so much stone spread up amongst the entire home. And creating that flare as well can give that break from the stone to the shake, and the flare and the molding around it will create that sort of harmony from the stone to the shake.
Okay.
And again, dropping that addition as well a little bit, the eave lines to sort of bring that massing down as well as we're trying to accomplish.
Right. Any other comments from? board
Hi, I'm the owner. Good evening, and I have 2 comments, if I may. I don't know if it's according to procedures for me to comment,
Yep,
but
absolutely.
I want to explain in 2 3 sentences what we try to do. I think the addition is a straightforward addition of 2 rooms. Whether we took into consideration when we bought it or not, we took under consideration that we might get denied. Still, we decided to buy it because it's close to schools, it's close to town, it was in our budget, which wasn't unlimited. So it kind of checked a lot of our boxes. Another thing that we are, an important factor to take into consideration is that we are investing money to make this house, which right now has a huge front porch, sort of White House looking type of porch, a more gentle one that would go better with the type of houses that you see in the neighborhood. We're not looking to make this house into a mansion. We're not going to have a pool, obviously. We're not. It's not going to be a gigantic house or ostentatious house on that sense. We just need the addition in order to fit the number of kids that we have and our lifestyle. And we're looking to be good neighbors and to blend into the neighborhood, regardless to the square footage that we have on our house. So it's not going to be a mansion. It's going to be a big house for a big family. And I think after what we're trying to do here with the front, it will look much better and less massive compared to how it looks right now. These are my 2 cents here.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, did you say it will look less massive than it does now?
Yes. In terms of square footage, it will be bigger, but right now, in my opinion, and I'm not an expert and not an architect, but when I went and looked at the house, trying to think and consider whether to buy it, I was, one of the downsides was the huge front porch and the columns, which make it look massive and somehow somewhat unrelated to the neighborhood. And what we're trying to achieve is remove this huge front porch. We are going to remove the columns. We're going to invest money in making it actually more modest looking.
Yeah, I understand. I'm sorry. I'd not understood what you were saying. I understand that. That does make sense.
yeah. I mean, I've been by the house a few times as well. And I guess my concern, it's not a huge jump up in terms of coverage, frankly. It's if your numbers are right, and I got about the same number, it's about 0.4% increase in coverage, which is not big. And even 18.3 is not, it's over, but it's not outrageously over for what we have done from time to time. My concern is more, will it look looming, sort of big over the neighborhood? And that goes a little bit to floor area ratio and things like that. But I do see from your drawings, you are trying to make it actually look a little bit more modest by cutting back that front entryway, which frankly is very out of character with the neighborhood.
Sure.
And therefore, even though you're looking to increase on the right side of the property, if you sort of bring it down in the front, it actually might look a little bit less looming than it does right now. I don't know, any other comments from board members? Does everybody feel like they got enough of a chance to take a look or can figure it out from the papers? I mean, it's not a great time for people to be getting out and going to look at property. I happen to be teaching a 16-year-old how to parallel park, and that's a great street to do it on. So I've been by a bunch of times.
Sure.
So I have seen it plenty. But anybody else have any other comments? All right. Well, then I think I'll go ahead and make a motion. I understand John's point. I mean, this is over coverage, but to me, it is a modest addition in coverage. And I would be a little more worried about the FAR numbers, except that I do see an attempt to make this look a little more in keeping with the neighborhood and a little less looming, as I don't know if that's a good word, but you know what I mean.
Sure.
So I will make a motion to approve. Rosie, what do you think? I'm going to go on my Zoom screen right to left. I don't know how that looks to you.
Yeah, I mean, I have some concerns. Again, I agree with you, not on coverage, but on the floor area, just because it's already a very large house in terms of square footage. I agree. I mean, to me, I don't know, the fact that the sort of stylistic modifications to the front of the house go a ways toward ameliorating that. I'm a little bit torn, but I guess I'll vote to approve.
Judd?
Vote to approve.
John?
No, I vote not to approve.
Okay. Ken?
What I stated.
Yeah, I vote not to approve. Again, like you've said, in terms of the FAR, that's what's the most concerning to me. I do appreciate the efforts to make it a little bit more modest from the front view, but the FAR, it just does seem like it's much more imposing than the immediate neighbors already, and I'm concerned it's going to look even more out of character.
Yeah.
So I'm going to vote no.
Okay. Well, by the tightest of margins, because 3 is the absolute minimum that you need, you are going to get your variance. So I will send you out a letter this week. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and appreciate the Zoom conference and the time that you guys are putting into this during this time of
And although I voted against, I appreciate your efforts to do what you've done.
Yeah.
very much appreciate it. Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time. Good evening.
All right. So the next case is Kraus. And John, I'm assuming, are you out on this one? Have you been noticed?
I think I've been noticed, but after I lost this vote, I don't want to participate in this group anymore anyhow.
Don't say that.
I'm right across the street. I think I've been noticed, but in any case, I clearly have to recuse myself.
Okay. All right. Is somebody here to appear on that?
Yep, that's me, Mike Martorelli from Michael Lewis Architects,
Great.
representing the owners, David and Heidi Kraus.
Excellent. And for both cases, both people who are appearing on these cases, Sarah Palermo sent us which I think you can all see, a note that any notices or anything that needs to be given to her can be sent to her email address. I think, can you see that?
Yep.
Great. And you are okay going forward via Zoom? That works for you?
Yep, fine with me.
Terrific. So,
Do you need me to spell my name for the record or anything?
yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Sure. First name Mike, last name Martorelli.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
So, what have you got?
Do you want me
for us?
to? Sorry, do
Yeah.
you want me to share my screen so you can
That'd
see
be
some
great,
additional
yeah.
photos if possible?
That would be terrific. Yep. Thank you.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. Terrific.
Can you see that okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are proposing to put this heavy timber covered structure out in the back over a portion of the existing patio with some sort of trellis system here and here.
Mhm.
There will be no changes to the existing main house footprint. And you can see that the allowable coverage is 2,813. Existing coverage is 3,062. And the proposed addition of this patio portion back here will push it over the existing by 9 square feet.
And I'm sorry, what is the allowable on that again? 2,000
So the allowable, correct.
and change. Okay. 9. And
So just
so,
to,
yeah, how are you doing that? Are you removing?
so
There must be some sort of trade back to get that number
Yeah.
down to 9.
So
Right.
this is the outline of the existing patio,
Okay.
and we're removing this shaded portion here and
Yeah.
here,
Okay.
and then adding this small portion over here with using the existing brick.
Okay. Got it. So basically you're taking away and then you're going to cover it. Is that essentially what
Yes.
it comes down to? Okay. I'm gonna percolate.
With just 9 square feet additional brick, I gather, right?
Correct.
Right. Changing the shape. Any questions from board members? Does everybody more or less know the neighborhood we're talking about and get a good idea from the paperwork, more or less what we're talking about here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's obviously a very exclusive neighborhood, by the way.
Obviously.
It's also a good place to teach a 16-year-old how to drive. I've been through there quite a few times this
Right.
past few weeks.
And luckily it's all in the back, so there's no change to your view.
Right. You're not doing anything. And any feedback from the neighbors, as far as you know?
No.
I have not heard any, although, with the Krauses have 2, they're not teenage girls, but the 2 families have moved in next to them and next to us, and they're younger kids. And there's a lot of discussion. My wife says in the afternoon, it's like Camp Corona.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
There's a lot of discussion. I think I would have heard something if anybody had any issues. Not that would be relevant in any case.
Well, and it looks like the property line goes back quite a ways. So they're really,
does,
it's not on top of your neighbor at all, the
Right.
neighbor in the back.
Right.
Yes.
Right, it looks like you can see the back of the house from Broadway, which is how I look to see. And the backyard of the house on Broadway is really what's contiguous with what the work they're doing. So it really doesn't appear to impact anyone's view.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, are there any other comments, or has everybody been heard on this? Because if there's nobody else who wants to be heard on it, I'm going to make a motion to approve. 9 square feet is just nothing to say no over at this point, and I particularly appreciate the give back to keep that number absolutely as small as possible. And it's not impacting on the neighbors. It's not overly out of character with the neighborhood. I think this is a pretty modest ask. So I will make a motion to approve. Judd, what do you say?
I approve. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yep. We can. And Ken
Yes, I approve.
and Rosie?
Yes. Yep.
And John, you are not voting on this one. And I vote yes. So you've got your variance. We will send you a letter this week.
Great. Thank you so much for your time.
And just be sure and please send the notice to the neighbors that you sent out. Please send that to Sarah Palermo at the Village.
Right. Will do. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Good.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Is the expectation that if there are matters on for May, that it'll also be Zoom, or who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's my expectation. I think the next meeting is scheduled for after the stay-at-home order as presently constituted.
After,
was
post
now.
May 15th, right?
But I mean, that's so up in the air that I would assume if we're going to do this again, we're going to do it. If anything comes in, I can't imagine much is moving through the village offices right now.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I don't even know what process there is to make applications at this point, but whatever they are, I would assume if we do it, I mean, I think this worked pretty well, didn't you?
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
seemed
well
to.
enough. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought
So-
that was fine.
Do we know, has the building department been conducting its meetings and with Zoom? Because that's where the appeals would come from, right?
Yeah, my understanding is that the village has been doing everything through Zoom.
Yeah.
Everything that's happening is happening through Zoom.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, Ed Marin from the building department.
Oh,
We're still
Hi, Ed.
receiving applications.
yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, and we're moving along to avoid a backlog later on.
great. I wasn't doubting so much that you were doing your job as much as I was doubting that anyone was committing to spending money right now. That's the
Believe it or
biggest-
not, we're not overwhelmed, but we're busy enough.
Huh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, my guess is if we, our next meeting would be by Zoom, but
Okay.
That's an assumption. That's a good assumption. The planning board will be having their next meeting, and that's usually prior to your receiving denial letters.
okay, terrific. Thank you.
No problem.
Well, it was good to see everybody.
Yes.
It's
Two.
remotely. It's
Stay safe, as the fraternity brother of mine just wrote, which is the new way to say goodbye. Stay safe instead of saying goodbye.
yeah.
Stay safe.
Well, I'm glad
Okay.
everybody is staying safe so far. So fingers crossed, and I guess we'll see each other next month.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Yep. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.